Hello and welcome back to another Covert Go 2 video, and I'm back in the dojo, back to recording. It feels like it's been forever. It's been about a week, maybe a little bit less, but it feels like forever. I've been at MagicCon Philadelphia, and you know, I could tell you all about that. The whole video could be about adventures at MagicCon Philadelphia, but it's not, because they revealed new cards from March of the Machines. And MagicCon Philadelphia, the other set just came out. It's been like, what, 3 weeks? If that? And they're revealing new cards from March of the Machines. But it's a very small preview. It's just a super early look. They're not doing the full spoiler season until, I believe, it kicks off March 29th. So we have a few weeks to check out these cards. And of course, we are going to start with the one that will probably impact the channel the most, at least in the meme value. And that is Jin-Gitaxias. 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 No other name. Just straight up, this is Jin. No progress tyrant, no, no insert mastermind blue word here. So let's check out this new card. Jin-Gitaxias is coming to March of the Machines in the middle of April, and that will be a standard legal set, so we have to prepare ourselves. It's 3 blue for a 5/5 legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor with no pants. Also, mythic rare, ward 2, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, draw a card. Yeah. 3 and a blue, exile Jin-Gitaxias, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. Activate only as a sorcery, and only if you have 7 or more cards in hand. That's asking a lot. So what do you get if you have 7 or more cards in hand and you put 4 more mana into this card as a sorcery? Well, you get the Great Synthesis. As this saga enters the battlefield, and after your draw step, add a lore counter. Yes, we are transforming our mighty Praetors into sagas, something bizarre that we've never seen on Magic card before. Chapter 1, draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size for as long as you control the Great Synthesis. Remember, you could only activate this if you actually had 7 cards in hand. So that's like a draw 7. Chapter 2, return all non-Phyrexian creatures to their owner's hands. And Chapter 3, you may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana costs. Exile the Great Synthesis. Then return it to the battlefield. Front face up. It comes back as Jin. It comes back and you get to start the whole party all over again. What a bizarre and interesting card. It definitely foreshadows some new things from March of the Machines. First of all, there's the transforming into sagas. That is fresh. The lore behind this, the way that sagas have worked in the past, is that there are art depictions of things that happened in the past featuring characters, stories from the past of Kaldheim, stories from the past of Dominaria, things like that. This is not a story from the past. What is happening here is the idea is that if the Praetor gets to really live out its ultimate evil scheme in the multiverse, then this is what would happen. This is like the alternate ending to your MCU in Magic the Gathering. Like, if Thanos had won, this is how it all would have gone. I guess we kind of saw that, but you know what I mean. So yeah, the Jin-Gitaxias dream, he creates this chamber that completes absolutely everyone and everything, and yeah, the saga plays to that. This also foreshadows a cycle of the new Praetors. We've seen art for all of them. We have not seen the card except for Jin-Gitaxias. So there's probably going to be an Elishnorn that turns into a saga. There's going to be an Urabrask that turns into a saga, a She-Eldred that turns into a saga, and a Vorinclex that turns into the saga, all in this set, which is going to be very exciting for fans of the Praetors, and it's going to make for some really sweet themed commander game showdowns. So that will be fun. Now, also cool callbacks on the card itself. When you transform into the Great Synthesis, you get a little bit of Seagate Restoration vibes, one of my favorite blue cards of all time. I play it in every commander deck that I can, and if I played formats like Historic and Explorer, I would definitely play Seagate Restoration. The second chapter is like a Whelming Wave, although at first you think Cyclonic Rift, but much more Whelming Wave, but it bounces everything that's not Phyrexian and only the creatures, so it doesn't hit your other non-land permanents. And then the last chapter is very much an omniscience, a very famous kind of epic, just over-the-top spell. So it's really cool to see those callbacks going on. But is Jin-Gitaxias good? And where would it see play? I think that the Ward 2 is useful. It definitely keeps this from the, typical dies to go for the throat type arguments that will pop up for sure. And yeah, you can still go for the throat this, but having to pay for it is a huge difference. It does mean they have to spend their turn on interacting with the card. So if you have any kind of a positive battlefield presence, you're doing well. Normally, whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, would be a little bit of a turnoff, because that means you're casting really expensive non-creature spells in a format that's very much about moving the board forward. However, when you think about cards like Fable the Mirror Breaker then drawing you cards, and planeswalkers like Liliana of the Veil and the many planeswalkers from the last set like Jace the Perfected Mind drawing you cards when they enter the battlefield, you start to feel much warmer and fuzzier about this. On top of that, you can use cards like March of Otherworldly Light and cards like Black Sun's Twilight. Both of these are cycles that are legal in Standard right now, and you can use higher amounts for them to draw cards with Jin-Gitaxias. So yeah, stapling draw effects to your X spells and to all these already popular cards makes this a pretty good card. So where are we going to see it? In Standard, I think that this will see niche play. I don't think it will be a ubiquitous card whatsoever. It's good enough to see play in like 1 or 2 of them along various types of decks. From Grixis, Jeskai, just, what Standard is right now. Grab your mid-range deck, throw in some of your favorite cards. This is worth a spot as a 1 of or 2 of. But when you think about like Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines, that card didn't hit very hard in Standard. I think that this card has better potential because of the draw card line, but it's not that different from Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines when you think about it in terms of you play it, and then the next turn you play something and get extra value from that something. So I'm not that optimistic about seeing Jin-Gitaxias very often in Standard. What about Historic Brawl? It will be a good Historic Brawl commander. It won't be a bad one. It's blue, and in Historic Brawl, blue is the best color, I think, by a lot. Maybe that's why I like the format so much, but I don't think this will ever be a Hell Queue commander. I think this will be a high, like, A-tier commander sometimes, but I think it can compete in the open queue. I think it will be a very fun commander, but definitely in terms of, like, mono blue commanders, you have cards like Baral and various other things that will take the Hell Queue spots ahead of our boy Jin-Gitaxias here. Where this card is going to shine is Commander. This is a Commander card, and the main reason is because in Commander, you're much more likely to do the thing, to do the Saga Flip. Investing 4 mana at sorcery speed to turn this into an enchantment is a big cost, something that's going to, especially having 7 or more cards in your hand as a requirement, that's the big thing. That's like, it's like the ultimate on a planeswalker, but on a creature. And because of that, you're not going to see it really live up to its full potential with that extra text on there until you play it in Commander, a place where you can do absolutely crazy things, and cards are legal that refill your hand up to 7. You think of cards like Windfall, you think of cards like Time Twister, and the other various wheel style effects, Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Misfortune, etc. that exist in that format. Not only could you put those in the deck, but so could your opponents. So the idea that Jin-Gitaxias can get on the battlefield, it might actually stay on the battlefield in Commander. You can protect it with cards like March and slip out the back and things like that. But for the most part, people will probably ignore it because of that Ward 2, because Commander players hate paying any extra cost of any kind. You're more likely to do the thing. And when you do the thing, that's when this card truly reaches its potential, because a little draw 7 into a little wave effect, into an omniscience is gross and is probably game ending in most scenarios. So I think that this is a truly sweet Commander card that I'm very excited to play on the Worst Possible Commander show, and I think it will see niche play in the other places. But I think it's like a great glimpse of March of the Machines, because it's clearly part of a cycle, and part of a really cool cycle at that. And for those of you who really want a meme, the backside's not legendary. So go off, kings and queens, see how many copies of the Great Synthesis you can make. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. We'll cover more cards in the coming days. You're cool.